Give it a couple more minutes here and we'll before we get started.
Sounds great.
All right, Marshall, give these guys where you're at.
I am in St. Augustine, Florida, so it's a crisp 70 degrees and sunny.
Dustin, it's even warmer where you are, isn't it?
Yeah, if you can go further south than that, that's where I am in Sarasota, Florida, about a little south of Tampa on the west side of Florida.
There you go. There you go. But you're dealing with all the snowbirds and all the traffic that comes with those people coming down that direction for the winter, right? So at least
Yeah,
you're dealing with that.
my family's just in town, and that's what they're like. There's so much traffic down here. I'm like, yeah, everybody's trying to escape.
Right? Yeah. Well, and we're going when we come down for the ARA show, we realized I'm in Illinois, but the rest of my coworkers are in Philadelphia, and the Phillies play the Yankees on the Sunday prior to the ARA show. So we're gonna hit up a spring training game uh on that Sunday before the show. So it'll be like set the booth up fast and feverishly and then run off to the spring training game. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that will
That'll be
be
Nice.
fun.
fun. Yeah. It feels like when anytime that you can like, and this goes for, anybody that's on the call today, right? Like anytime that you can get your people together outside of work or when you're on a business trip like that, if you can do something that's like, kind of separate from the work aspect of it, it just seems to bond everybody together a little bit more, it's kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And when you're someplace warm, you might as well, right? So
take
Yeah, we
advantage.
did that as a team too this fall. We did warehouse tours. So a bunch of people, we went to visit our customers and see their warehouses. And like
oh,
one
nice.
day was dedicated to seeing their warehouses, and the other day was kind of dedicated for team bonding, something fun in that city. So like our team in Dallas went to the Fort Worth stockyards, or kind of
Oh,
we were in
fun.
Orlando. We kind of did some fun Orlando things. So it was really cool to do that.
There you go. Nice, nice. Well, so let's see here. We'll go ahead and get started. We're about 5 minutes past the hour, so we'll go ahead and get started. I'm Charlie Peterson with Peer Executive Groups. I think I know most of you guys on the call today, but we're a company that puts business owners in the room together to share best practices with each other. And then I've got Marshall McCormick from Good Shuffle and Dustin from Quipli with us here on the call today. Marshall, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell these guys a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I'm Marshall. As mentioned, I live in St. Augustine, Florida, but I've been with Good Shuffle going on 2 years now. And this is actually kind of my fifth year selling software to small businesses just like this. So I've had the lens to sell into different industries. And when I was kind of chatting with Charlie yesterday, I just really got sucked into the rental industry, especially event rentals. It's fun to see how the industry keeps growing. It used to just be weddings were a big event, but now it's baby showers, first birthday parties are these huge, extravagant events that have a lot of
Right.
logistics going into them. So it's really fun to kind of see how the industry is evolving. And yeah, I'm excited to chat with you both on kind of how to find the right software for you and your business.
Cool. Yeah. Dustin, how about you? How long have you been at Quiply and what's kind of your role with Quiply?
Yeah. So I've been at Quiply for a little over 3 years now. I'm an account executive, so new sales is
Hmm.
primarily what I'm dealing with.
Okay.
I previously worked, I've not sold software before, so I previously worked at an equipment rental company
There you go.
down here in Florida called Synergy Equipment was the name. Now they're called OpenFX Synergy. They've grown quite a bit, but I started as an inside sales coordinator for a year and then was an outside territory rep for 6 years before I saw Quiply, and I was like, man, I want to be a part of that. So. Um,
Nice.
and I've even, while I worked there, even went through a software change. The company actually changed software, so I know some of the battles that you face with that. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I love to hear that because I have a similar background. I came from a family event rental and equipment rental business, and we went. I go back to the days of green screens and function keys, baby. So like we've come a long way from that, and we went through a similar software change at one point, and so I've kind of been through it, and it'll kind of be good to kind of talk through this. So the idea of the webinar today is just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a roadmap, just kind of a little bit of a shopping list, things you should be paying attention to as you're kind of walking the show floor, and maybe you're haven't decided if it's time to switch or any of that kind of thing. So that'll kind of be the layout for today. Feel free to post any questions in the. I think we're going to have a chat or a Q&A running here that you guys will be able to throw up any questions on, that we'll kind of run through and that kind of a thing. So, Dustin, I'll put this one out there to you first. What do you see when you're interacting with a new customer or a prospect customer? What's the thing that they're like, oh man, I finally got to make the switch. I finally gotta kind of do this. I've been putting it off too long. What's the thing that like kind of tips them over to really decide that they need to shop for new software?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most common thing that we start to hear is from an umbrella view is growth.
Okay,
Companies continue to grow and they are either outgrowing their processes, outgrowing their software, or both.
sure.
Um, what's pretty common, there's kind of like two buckets underneath that if there's the customers that are on a software and it either can't handle what they're trying to do anymore, or maybe just the workflows aren't matching where they're trying to take their business, or
Yeah,
they're not on a software yet and they're still using maybe just QuickBooks for billing and Excel for tracking some inventory, but they're getting to a tipping point where their employees are getting frustrated. They're losing deals and transactions, and like just notes all over a screen somewhere, right?
yeah.
So I think that's really where we hear the most common of like, okay, we've got to make a change and we've got to do something, and that's where a lot of people reach out.
Sure, sure. So, Marshall, what about you on the event side? It can be, a little bit different. Some of the, kind of barriers to entry on the event side are a little bit lower than on the equipment side. So you might see people that are, maybe they're, starting out sooner, or, maybe their business is a lot older, when they're getting ready to switch software. What do you see on the event side for people deciding to move forward on software?
Yeah, so we do see the same growth kind of story that Dustin is talking about, where someone's maybe going from 50 to 150 events and Excel just isn't cutting it anymore.
Yeah.
But the one that I've kind of seen popping up more and more lately is just overbooking and double booking their items.
Oh,
And
sure. Yeah.
the amount of times that people have to sub rent from their competitors in order to kind of make that event work
Hmm.
really frustrates them. And so by the third or fourth time that they've double booked that tent, they're like, all right, I'm done doing this. I need a
Right.
system that is going to track everything for me. And so that's kind of the main thing. And the last one is really just like some people think it's only worth it if you spend the money to save time. Like if you're not
Sure.
going to, you have to kind of think of that. Like, are you wanting to be spending your time doing all of these um, piecing together different softwares, different Excel sheets, and spending a bunch of time there? Or do you want to spend a little bit of money and kind of get rid of that headache and all of the hoops that you're jumping through on the back?
Sure. Right. Right. Yeah. At some point, it gets to the tip to the point of, you got to spend some money to save money, kind of a thing, right? Like you
Yep.
get to that as well. So when somebody's getting ready to go to, let's say they're going to the ARA show, or maybe they've got a local event where there's going to be some software vendors that they can talk to. Marshall, what do you see as kind of like some of the homework or some of the things that they should be, kind of organizing their thoughts around when they're deciding to start shopping?
Yeah. So I kind of have like three pieces of advice for like your pre-demo homework. And That's the first one is to like write down specifically what you want, not just like something generic. So an example would be like, I need real-time availability when my salesperson's on the phone, not just I need inventory management. The second one is to like write down a list of like, these are my must-haves and these are my nice to haves. A lot of
Sure.
the times when you're at these shows, people are going to be showing off their nice to haves because that's the cool, flashy feature that gets you to walk into the booth. But if
Yeah.
you go and you make your purchasing decision on someone having all the nice to haves and the must haves aren't there, you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt in a few months because you're really going to be missing what took you there in the first place. Um, and just kind of going in and making a prepared decision.
Sure.
Prepared, when you're prepared, you're going to be able to know within a few days if that system works for you or not. If you go in unprepared, we're going to be seeing you in the same webinar a year from now as you're looking to make another software switch because it's going to be that you didn't do the work up front, and we're going to be helping you make that decision again in 12 to 18 months when that the nice to haves kind of broke on your end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Dustin, for you, what do you see? Like, maybe give an example, maybe of somebody that really didn't really have their ducks in a row, and how you've been able to kind of help them down that path and like figure out, here's, without being like crazy salesy and pushy about it, like how do you kind of navigate that nice to have versus need to have kind of conversation?
Yeah, I mean the specific example would be coming to the demo prepared of like what issue are you trying to solve in your business like specifically? I mean if
Hmm.
you can come to a demo and a sales rep can give like a nice walkthrough of the program and again they'll show all the nice to haves, right? But I think
Sure.
that if you come in prepared with a like here's some problems I'm having or here's how I'm here's where I am today and here's where I'm trying to get to tomorrow, that's
Yeah.
that helps both parties kind of decide whether this is going to be a fit and if we can help you get there or not. So just coming prepared to these meetings and shows, right? Like why are you switching? What are you solving for? I don't think and to Marsh's point, I don't think you need like a checklist of like 150 things and then you have to check off every single one that your vendor has to have it because that's going to
Hmm.
set you up probably for failure. But I do think that you can have a list and then you be flexible to weigh the benefits and advantages of all the different vendors of who fits your company the best, from there.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll give you guys this. I'm tweaking this question a little bit, but I want to ask each of you guys with Marshall with Good Shuffle Pro, what's your thing that's like you're really nice to have with Good Shuffle that maybe somebody else out there that's doing software doesn't have? And then Dustin, I'll ask you the same thing.
Yeah, I think that Good Shuffle is really building out the in-depth back end. So we're now able to handle everything when it comes to dispatching your trucks, barcoding your inventory, tracking everything on that front. And for a lot of the software that is like a nice to have and a cherry on top, but then kind of going back into the must-haves, like in Good Shuffle, you can go ahead and get all of your nice proposals sent out, your contracts signed, all the payments can be processed kind of through the platform. And so being able to do the things that require you to be a successful business, and then also having the option to grow and build out that in-depth kind of company that you have is really where Good Shuffle excels. So it doesn't matter
Sure.
if you're a mom and pop that's putting up tents for graduation parties on the weekend, or if you're a company with 75 trucks in a huge warehouse with a ton of employees. Like Good Shuffle has the infrastructure to help support both of those companies.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Dustin, how about you? What's Quipley's new like really nice to have that you guys have going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, so it's defined as nice to have today. We released a new product called Quinn, which is yeah, it's without going too in depth, it's a revenue growth platform that integrates to our main core Quiply system, but it's designed to help you and your team grow revenue specifically, and it uses buzzword alert, a lot of AI agents to go in there and use it. So I strongly feel that it's a nice to have today, but in 6 to 12 months, it's actually going to be a must have in order for you guys to stay competitive in the market as it continues to change. But that's what we're super excited about right now.
Nice. So you're telling me that AI is going to do more than just take a picture and make it into a cartoon in 6 months?
Yes.
All right. So we're getting ready to go to the ARA show. We're like not quite 30 days out. Like one of the things I always remember about being in the business was my sales reps were coming around and saying, "Hey, are you going to the show? Here's the deals that we got." Talk a little bit about like what the kind of how to navigate that pressure, and then also, from a software perspective, it's that kind of implementation, like timelines and that kind of thing, right? Like as people are shopping softwares, what are they looking at as far as like show specials, and like how do they navigate those, and do they matter when they're looking at something like this that is going to be kind of a long-term purchase? And Dustin, I'll come to you first on that one.
Yeah, I think show specials are an interesting thing, right? Because if there's no, if you don't, if you're a company that doesn't have like your pricing published online at all, there's no real way to validate a show special at all. I kind of view
Fair
it to
enough.
like if you think Prime Day on Amazon, it's like there's like 10% of them are good deals, and then the other 90% are just marked up prices that are discounted
Discounted
50%.
back, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying everyone does it. I'm just saying that's something to be aware of. So I think
Sure.
when it definitely helps to deal with vendors that have their pricing publicly listed, because then it gives you, if there are any show incentives or discounts, it gives you something to
Sure.
base it off of.
Yeah.
But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, I'd say incentives are great to take advantage if it's the right fit for you. But it's going to be more expensive to your business to pick the wrong software because of a slightly discounted show incentive, and then have to switch than it would be to
Yeah.
just pick the right company to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Marshall, how about you?
Yeah, I'm very similar. The one thing that comes to mind is like, is saving 10% on something like right now worth it by rushing the wrong choice? Like
Yeah.
it's when we see like Toyota-thon, a commercial that happens every year, and they're like, this is the best pricing, you'll never see this again. But that same commercial pops up every year. Like, at what point is it actually the best pricing that you'll never see again? I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
it's and a lot of the times, like what I would do is just like ask the rep, like ask them, like, is this genuinely better than what I'm going to see next month? Like
Yeah.
most reps are gonna shoot you straight and be like, you know
Yeah.
what, this is pretty similar to our best deal, or similar to what Dustin said. Like if the our pricing is on the website, you can go and calculate whatever pricing you want. Like my job is not to find some hidden magical deal for you. Like I want to find the right software for you. Because that mystical deal that will never happen again is not really true. Like
Sure.
the better question that I think you should ask is like, if I sign right now with all this pressure and it's not the right fit for me in 60 days, like what are my options? Because if
Oh yeah, I
someone
never
is
thought
is
about that,
looking
right?
to
Like,
lock you in, then that's like a little bit of red flags are popping up on my
sure.
end.
Yeah, yeah. So give me the one question people should be asking to like kind of separate out the different softwares, and maybe trying to help them make a decision.
For me, it is support unlimited, and what does my support look like? I
It's a
think
good one.
that that is the number one thing for me, is making sure that you are supported. Our view at Good Shuffle is yes, we don't charge any extra for support. We're looking to help you. If we give you a software and it doesn't help your business transform, then we're failing you.
Yeah.
So that's always my number one, is like, is support unlimited, and what can we do to help on that front?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of the I feel like over the course of the last 2 years, there's definitely been a little bit of a shift in software, and that support is a huge pain point that we hear our members talking about with any kind of software platform. So, Dustin, I'm going to bring this next one to you. I've got so okay. Let's say we get through all the stuff at the ARA show, and we've talked through eight different software providers, and we've got the pricing sheets and all that kind of thing. What do you feel like is kind of the next step for somebody, maybe if they don't want to make a decision necessarily on the show floor? What's kind of the next thing that you feel like is the most important step to getting to making a decision?
Yeah, I think it's easy to get caught up in like all the features and the bells and whistles. You walk around the show, you see all these cool companies, and it's really great to meet the people in person, right? I think it's a unique advantage
Right,
of
yeah,
like
yeah,
this is how you can like really get a feel of like who you're going to be partnering with, and I think that's invaluable. But the real thing, like the next step to me is like, okay, narrow down your list. I mean, you don't want to be have a list of 7 companies. I think it's just too many, right? But maybe
yeah,
two, maybe three max,
sure,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and from there, I'm always thinking the next question is, what does the onboarding process look like? And what do I do, especially if you're an existing rental company, what do I do with all of my existing data that I've been gathering for the past few years, right? How do I get that into the system? What is how does the training look when I get established there, right? So we
yeah,
see data migration and more specifically historical data migration coming up more and more. And
sure.
that's something that it's a conversation that I think is worth having, and that's how you kind of go from that next step of like looking at software, like okay, if we sign the dotted line, like what's happening right
What's
after.
next? Yeah. So having that kind of laid out implementation plan from the software company
Yes.
that, kind of gives you the checklist of the things that you're working through. That makes sense. So yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. Let's see. So the other thing, so just another question kind of around marketing and you're going to go to the ARA show and they're going to have these big giant booths with 50 people walking around, and there's going to be like a secret room that you go back to really sign the paperwork and that kind of thing. What can you guys kind of tell me about how to distinguish a company that does like flashy marketing and that kind of thing to somebody that really has a good product and a good software that's going to serve my business for a number of years? Marshall, I'll
Yeah, I
start with
think,
you.
yeah. So, I mean, those big booths, they're really cool. They also cost a lot of money for that company. So,
Yeah.
like, would you rather your budget be allocated to updating the platform that's gonna like last years for you, or getting a piece of cool swag while you're in Orlando? Um, so it's like that money, where is it coming from? Is it coming from a smaller product budget, or is it an investor that's backing it, that's like, we got to have this company grow at all cost?
Yeah.
Or is it kind of that you see someone with a smaller team, you have those personal conversations that Dustin was talking about, talking with them, asking them about what was the last meaningful feature you did? Can I see your release history? Like at Good Shuffle, our engineering team is like 5x our sales team, because it's important for us to like build the platform and have a good product for you. Um, I think that that's really important. And then also just, you're going to be at this show. There are probably a ton of users of that platform walking around, maybe around the booth, maybe talking to their CX person. Have that conversation with them. Like,
Yeah,
what
right. Ask
would
the guys that
they,
are on it.
yeah, that like, talk to the users, ask them, would you choose this again? Do you see them going and looking at other software booths, or are they kind of talking with their current software provider? Like, this industry is one of the most like relationship driven industries that I've ever seen. And so like
Right.
everyone is
100%.
wanting to help out. They
Yeah.
want to help each other. Even if they're in the same market, a lot of the times they're like, hey, I need to help you so that we can grow and build this together. So lean on them. Like the
Yeah.
industry is built for that. That's everyone's nature in the industry.
Yeah.
have those
Well,
spreadsheets.
and don't be afraid to ask the software company for a referral, right? Like
Exactly.
both
Yeah.
of you guys, I'm sure have your, list of people that are, your champions, right? Like that's one of the things we talk about in peer executive groups is it's like those are our people that are drinking the Kool-Aid and they're the ones that, when we have somebody that's on the fence, it's great to have that person kind of come in and help with the deal, right? Dustin, any other comments on that around like, what you kind of are looking for at in the flashy booth and that kind of thing versus in product?
You guys nailed it, and you basically stole my answer. I was gonna say
Sorry.
references are just such a huge part of like
Uh,
the buying process at this point too. To
yeah,
and to specifically help distinguish of like, hey, where is money being put? Is it into flashy booths or is it into product development? Like that's
yeah,
where when you ask the reference, you don't just say, oh, do you like how long have you been on it? How much has the product
hmm.
changed since you started using it? Right?
That's a
Like
good question, right?
it, because then you're going to get a feel for the pace, like not just what the sales guy's saying, but the true pace of
Sure.
development from the back
Yeah,
end team and what to expect, and how fast they move. So
yeah.
you can get a lot of information from the references. And again, the ARA show is a perfect time to actually do that in person with them. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot, it's so much, I think with COVID, so much of us got used to doing stuff virtually and being over Zoom calls and doing webinars and that kind of thing, right, with each other. But there's just something about being in person with each other that just makes a huge difference, right? And being able to have that in-person conversation with everybody. So last question here. I know that the ARA show this year is later than we're used to, right? It's the first week of March, basically. What's the timeline? A lot of these rental businesses are, March, April, May, like it really gets into their busy season. What's the any hesitation to try and getting something done before they get into busy season? What's that look like for both of you guys? And Dustin, I'll start with you.
yeah, well, this goes back to a previous answer of the onboarding plan, right? Like, so you need to ask about that and see what that structure is going to look like, so you can plan around that with your business.
Sure.
We kind of mentioned it before, but it's very true of like rental software is like opposite busy season to rental companies. So when rental companies are at their busiest with dealing with customers, the rental softwares are a lot slower. And there's another advantage that you could try and use, like we've done this once or twice, but if you feel like you're getting into the busy season and switching would be too much of a task, there's also a chance that a lot of other companies are thinking that rental software companies are actually slower and maybe have a little bit more resources. So maybe you can negotiate a in-person training with your team on site, right? You talk about getting away from the virtual and everything
Yeah.
from COVID,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
like this is where like just be creative with it, right? If you're saying I can't switch because I get so busy in my peak season, well,
Hmm.
could you do it if you had two people there helping your employees write contracts on the new system on the first 2 days, right? So like I don't know, there's a lot of ways that you can get creative with it and try
Yeah.
and try and make it work if it's going to be a net positive for your business to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then the other thing is like if you're doing that training and that onboarding in the slow season when it's like, oh wait, we wrote 10 tickets today. I don't remember how to do it versus, oh, we wrote 100. I did it. I can do it in my sleep in 3 days, right? Like there's that aspect of it also. Marshall, how about for you guys? Good shuffle. I know some of these, I know Florida, their season is a little bit different. The further north you work, the seasons are a little bit different on the event side. What do you see as far as like the implementation schedule and kind of implementing in a busy time for the business?
Yeah, I think it honestly depends less on like the calendar timing and more on whether like how much your current system is costing you. So that
Okay,
is the way that like I really look at it. And especially in the event industry, like this does not have to be a flip of the switch. Like this can be something that we are like slowly migrating and getting everything in to do it on your schedule and on your pace.
I
A
got you.
lot of times people in the event rental industry kind of think of how they put on their events, and they are doing an event and at a flip of a switch the bride walks down the aisle and is having like the best day of her life. But
Yeah,
that's not how software has to work. It doesn't have to be that we walk in and flip the switch and everything is complete. Like it can be a process that is spread out, that is, hey, we're focusing on getting the sales team and getting our orders in. And then as things slow down, we start mixing in the back end team. So it can be something that is not a flip of the switch. And it also kind of depends on your team size. I mean, if it's busy season and you're a small team, like you can be sending out new quotes within an hour of signing up for Good Shuffle. Now, if you're like a mid-sized team, like yeah, it's going to take a couple weeks to get
Sure.
everything and get your workflows and get your training. And then if it's a large team, like yeah, it's going to take some time to completely make a switch from a new software. But again, it doesn't have to be that we just walk into the office one day and everything is completely different.
The screen's blue instead of green now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So we're coming up on our time here. I think that was really great. Any other last words of wisdom from each of you guys? Dustin, I'll let you go first. Any last thoughts for these guys?
No, I just want to say thank you guys for having us. This is awesome, cool little event. If any of you guys attending are going to be at the ARA show, I mean, please come say hi. Look up the Quipli booth. Love to meet you guys. And if you're in the market for software, help look and make sure that we're finding you the right solution if you need it. So
All
appreciate you
right.
having us on.
Yeah, good. Good. Marshall, how about you?
Yeah, kind of three quick things, and then I'll let everyone go. Me and Dustin's job here is not to pressure you. Our job is to help you find the right fit, even if it is not us. You can ask Dustin. I can say, we have passed leads back and forth that are in the equipment or the event space because our two softwares are built directly for equipment and directly for event. So we are all the time kind of being like, hey, this is not the right fit for you, but
Hmm.
Quiply is. So like we want you to find the right solution for you. Talk to our customers, talk to our competitors' customers, ask them what they like and don't like about the platforms. They will be honest with you. It's not them kind of doing anything. And then software should handle a lot of the tedious aspects of the job so that you can
Yeah,
focus
right.
on being creative and being strategic. Like your software needs to be built by people who care about your success, not just hitting their company numbers. And
Sure.
so those are kind of the points that I want everyone to walk away with.
There we go. That's good. I appreciate it. Very good. All right. Well, thanks everybody. I appreciate you being here. Again, thanks to Marshall and Dustin. I look forward to seeing you guys in Orlando, even though the two of you are already down in that nice sunny weather. The rest of us will be there here before too long. All right. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Take care.